She is proud of the sleeping cat. And we have Ryan. I already have a picture of him. For a second I thought that said he is a gay, but he is not a gay. But just look at this. Stella, I know you're sleeping, but stop snoring. Poke your butt. I just made that last night, because why the heck not? And I was tired. Wait, I didn't fix the guy on the top's hair. I mean, who freaking cares about his hair? Except for me. Okay, when I first drew Rain, I didn't do a sketch, so I'm not gonna do a sketch. When I animate, I only use sketches when I animate, for some reason. And my drawings always turn out better. No. If eyes were like that on top of our hair, then I would want to shave my hair because it would look creepy. Oh no, that looks bad. I just noticed I'm alive doing this, so. Yay! Death is best. Yay. Oh, well. No, skip the time limit. Yay. I'm sick. That's why I'm not I don't frick my mother. Who cares? Anyone who fricks their mom is a weirdo. Probably. Only probably. I almost said prodigy. Wait, am I the only one that played that stupid game Prodigy where my friends in like first grade were bragging about what level they were on? But I was at like level 1 because I never played it and always just secretly just played the game that everyone hated instead of doing what we were supposed to and not playing Prodigy. And playing I'm not gonna make him a tsundere. I don't think. Also, he looks like a transgendered guy, but he's not. Why does he look like he's trans? Oh, he has long hair. Don't mind what I'm doing inside, I'm sick. Don't mind what I'm doing inside, I'm sick. Yes. For a walk.
Oh.
Just notice that has cuss words in it. Just do that until there's no ads. Yeah! Go back to your drawing app. You know there. You get your there. You did the Hubba Bubba Bubble Gum. And I'm a weirdo. Wait, I didn't.
Hey, it's me. I couldn't decide which color to paint my nails this week, so that's what this is
I already
about.
watched it like an hour ago.
And I killed a bug. Ew. Today is yet
Actually,
another
less than
squishy
an hour
makeover,
ago.
so let me just get right to my first victim. Here he is. I opened this one up in my last unboxing video. It's a chicken in overalls. And you guys requested him a lot. But hold on. I want to introduce you to someone. I found his soulmate. You're welcome. So yes, I got this one recently as well. It's so soft. I just think they make the cutest little chicken couple, and I'm thinking they need to get married.
Married?
Yes, right now. So come on. We've got a chicken wedding to plan.
Wedding?
Yes. And just like that, it's time for squishy roasting. Honestly, I love the design of this squishy. It's just really cute, and I'm kind of sad to paint over it, but you guys asked for it. I will say his feet are a bit small. Actually, very small.
Like very small feet.
It is pretty worn and dirty. A nice big stain.
Everybody agrees. Duolingo is a great way to learn a language. It's addictive because
Right across his face.
It's addicted
Lots
to
of
learn
stains. What is
languages.
that? I don't know, but I just touched it. His little head doohickey is dripping. So I guess, all of that does justify giving him a makeover. But he just has such a sweet little face and those overalls. But you don't want to wear overalls to your wedding, do you?
yes.
What?
So the first step is going to be to take those off. So I'm carefully cutting his overalls, and his arms also. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm basically just turning him into a chicken ball or an egg. Exactly. And I'm just smoothing this out the best I can. It's never gonna be perfect, but I'll do what I can. Oh man. What have I done to you? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna use some memory foam to build him some brand new wings. I wanted to change his wings because I needed them to be more down at his side. I actually think they looked really cute the way they were in front like that, but they were just gonna get in the way, and they didn't fit my vision. My vision. Oh, it's like fluffy clouds and a blue sky. New wings. Why do these look like ears? And taking my trusty fabric fusion, I'm gonna glue these on and rubber band them down to hold them while the glue dries. He is not having a good day. Once that's dry, release him, and voila, here's his
New beach-ready body.
Now I'm gonna use some slick paint.
No, Peter.
So immature.
Anyway, I'm spreading a ton of that paint over him because thanks to my chopping, there's a lot of texture on there and I want to try to cover up as much of that as possible and make a smooth surface. Also to seal in those wings and make it one solid kind of piece. Ooh, that back. That looks painful. Yeah, so this was just a long process of applying a thick coat. One solid kind of piece. Ooh, that back.
Yes?
So the first step is going to be to take those off. So I'm carefully cutting his overalls, and his arms also. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm basically just turning him into a chicken ball or an egg. Exactly. And I'm just smoothing this out the best I can. It's never gonna be perfect, but you know, I'll do what I can. Oh man. What have I done to you? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna use some memory foam to build him some brand new wings. I wanted to change his wings because I needed them to be more down at his side. I actually think they looked really cute the way they were in front like that, but they were just gonna get in the way and, you know, they didn't fit my vision. My vision. Oh, it's like fluffy clouds and a blue sky. Okay, so here are his new wings. Why do these look like ears? And taking my trusty fabric fusion, I'm gonna glue these on and rubber band them down to hold them while the glue dries. He is not having a good day. Once that's dry, release him, and voila, here's his
New beach-ready body.
Now I'm gonna use some slick paint.
So immature.
Anyway, I'm spreading a ton of that paint over him because thanks to my chopping, there's a lot of texture on there and I want to try to cover up as much of that as possible and make
I
a
can't
smooth
draw
surface.
hair.
Also to seal in those wings and make it one solid kind of piece. Ooh, that back. That looks painful. Yeah, so this was just a long process of applying a thick coat of paint, waiting for it to dry, and then more coats and more coats and more coats, adding some drizzle. Oh no, that's not what we're doing here. And introducing
Muscle chicken.
I think the wings may be a little bit on the thick side. He's been lifting weights. I'm painting his whole body in a nice yellow color, basically the same color as before, maybe a little bit lighter. Oh, his back is just terrible. Let's cover that up. So yes, just a million coats of yellow paint to really build up that color. And yeah, just waiting for this to finish. Come on, come on. Okay, here's where it gets good. I'm drawing on his little bow tie and his suit, and finally gonna put some clothes on this guy. He's so naked. Here I go with the black paint. I really don't use black paint much at all, except for eyes, but
It's good.
since it's so dark, you know, you don't have to build up a million layers for good coverage, just like 2 coats and it's completely opaque. So that was nice. And now I'm going in with some of the details, his undershirt and his tiny little feet. I feel like his feet were this size when he was born. He grew and his feet never did. It's okay, it's okay. I'm gonna paint on that beak and his little head doohickey. Okay, what is that actually called? A comb? Really? I like head doohickey better. The original had this as blue to match his outfit, which was creative, I'll admit, but I'm actually just gonna stick with a more traditional color. Also, can I point out that my nails match this setting perfectly?
Scratching!
I'm going light blue
Stretching.
with this little bow tie. Actually, it's a big bow tie. He's muscle chicken. Go big or go home, except for his feet. I added his little
Boutonniere.
I hate saying that word. Which is one of the reasons that I needed to change his wings, because there wouldn't have been space to add one of those with his old wings. Here I go, finishing up the details of his face. Gotta love those eyebrows. And here he is. This is probably my least favorite makeover of this episode, just because I love the original so much. So seeing them side by side, I'm like, do I really love the new one that much more? I don't know. When I see it by itself, though, I am really happy with how this came out. Look at those muscles. Doesn't look that tough when you squish him, though. The important thing is, now he is dressed and ready for his wedding. So let's get into position for the ceremony. But wait, the bride, she needs to get ready. Here she is. She's still in her gardening clothes. Girl, you gotta get dressed. I do think this one is cute, and I will say the squishiness, out of this world, but I'm not as in love with this design. Why does her apron say friend? Seems kind of weird. And then this awkward looking flower cluster, don't really love that. There's a lot of ripping and cracking going on. She's about to lose her feet. Got those Angelina Jolie lips. And that was the moment when I realized
It's a freaking duck.
I've been calling this a chicken. I'm about to get married to a chicken. This is not the time for an identity crisis, but it's a duck. It's clearly a duck. You know what? It's okay. The wedding is still on. So here we go again. I need to take that hat off and ditch the apron as well. So I'm cutting all of that away. This is a familiar situation. And once I cut the brim of her hat off, I realize her head now looks really tall. So I ended up cutting her whole head down, yanking out that little plastic piece, which left a nice hole. And after ages of shaping and smoothing, here is her new head shape. Her brain is exposed. Now to take care of that hole,
A donut.
I'm just gonna use a little chunk of memory foam to fill that in. Wow, that's quite the pile. She lost some brain cells in this operation. So I went back and forth about this. But I ended up deciding to cut off her wings and reposition them in front of her. So yes, basically the complete opposite of what I did to her soon-to-be husband. But at least with her, I can still use these. But I am going to use some memory foam to make her some flowers. I'm using a technique that I learned from a clay kit that I used recently. It's super easy to do this with clay, but it's definitely a little different and more time-consuming to do this with memory foam. Basically, you just make a thin strip, roll it up, and then add petals around it, and bam, you've got a flower. For once, I didn't use fabric glue on this. I do not recommend using hot glue for squishies and because it will leave hard spots in your squishy. But since the flowers have so many little pieces to stick together, it would have taken so long for me to use fabric glue and wait for each piece to dry. So I just tried to use very small amounts of glue so that it wouldn't be too bad. And there we go, 3 flowers so that it looks like a little bouquet. Now back to that arm situation. I'm gonna reattach them so that she can hold her bouquet, kind of. Now that those are dry, that looks okay. Now to deal with those floppy feet, I'm just gonna glue those down real quick. And I do definitely have to fix her head up and the sides of her with some slick paint. It's almost like adding a new skin over her
Freshly exposed brain.
Oh, I'm smoothing a bunch of paint over to fix up all of the rough areas. Wow, here we go, more paint.
Her brains are leaking.
Okay, let's just keep going. Once her body is under control, I also have to coat those flowers in lots of paint because we definitely want to fill in those holes so that it looks like it's part of the squishy and not a piece of foam that I glued onto the squishy, which is exactly what it is, but you know what I mean. And finally, it's time to make this better. So here goes the yellow paint. I'm keeping the same yellow paint that I used on Muscle Chicken, and let's turn her over and start painting the back. And while I'm working on the next 200 coats of yellow paint, I'm gonna take a second to journey outside the camera because this video is sponsored by Audible. If you don't know Audible, basically it's a way to listen to books being read out loud. I mean, it's not like overly loud. I don't know why I emphasize that. Anyway, it's perfect for me because doing these squishy makeovers takes forever, and Opie is not the best conversationalist. So I've been using Audible to listen to books while I'm working. I used to love to read, you know, back when I had free time, but nowadays I'm constantly working on something. My eyeballs are always preoccupied. That was a weird way of putting it. It makes me feel so productive to be able to get my work done and, you know, keep my brain alive. Learning is good for you. So if you want to try out Audible, sign up for the free 30-day trial by going to audible.com/Mariah, audible.com/Mariah, or text Mariah to 500-500. I'm currently listening to Jane Austen, but literally they have the biggest selection of audiobooks on the planet, so I'm pretty sure whatever it is you like, they'll have something for you. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring. And now it's time to put a dress on this duck. And I'm starting with her veil. Even though I cut down her head quite a bit, she's still got plenty of forehead headspace to work with. Kind of looks like she's wearing a baby bonnet more than a veil. How do you paint a veil on a duck? I don't know. Basically, I'm painting everything white except her face and her feet. I'm adding some pink cheeks.
She's a blushing bride.
And adding some nice pastel color to those flowers. And she is going barefoot, lazy. Her feet are like 3 times the size of her husband's feet. Why am I still talking about his feet? I don't know. Throw another couple of coats on those flowers and yes, they're actually looking pretty good. The top of her head looks a little bit plain, so to add some detail, I'm painting a little flower crown. You know, it's festive, it's cute, and I added details within the flowers as well so they don't look too blobby. Finally, painting those eyes in and getting some lashes on. Then I'm using some white pearlescent paint, and I'm trying to make it look like there's little pearls in between the flowers to dress it up, make it look a little bit more bridal. And hey, why not throw a couple in the bouquet as well? I also outlined her baby bonnet.
I just noticed almost all my fans are probably in school right now.
Yes?
So the first step is going to be to take
You know, let's just restart the whole thing.
Hey, it's me. I couldn't decide which color to paint my nails this week, so that's what this is about. Oh. And I killed a bug. Ew. Today is yet another squishy makeover, so let me just get right to my first victim. Here he is. I opened this one up in my last unboxing video. It's a chicken in overalls. And you guys requested him a lot. But hold on. I want to introduce you to someone. I found his soulmate. You're welcome. So yes, I got this one recently as well. It's so soft. I just think they make the cutest little chicken couple, and I'm thinking they need to get married.
Married?
Yes, right now. So come on. We've got a chicken wedding to plan.
Wedding?
Yes.
Yeah, let's just...
What's up? Today, this is going well. Hey, it's me. Today, I'm doing a craft kit that looks freaking adorable, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't disappoint. And it's a little clay bake kit. I don't know what to call this. Basically, you just learn how to make these little cute bakery items out of clay. Hi. How are you? I have high hopes, and I know better. I know better than to have high hopes, but I have high hopes. One thing that does give me comfort and hope is that there is a literal book of instructions, like a 50-page book. Very thorough instructions, step by step. I think that this is a good sign. The little designs that they put in here are just precious. The price tag says $21.99. By the way, I'm wearing some of my new merch. This is my pickle shirt, in case you're wondering. Any of the short sleeve unisex shirts at the very top of the shop, if you click on those, you'll see a long sleeve option for every design. So if it's a little chilly where you live, it's covered, literally. Anyway, let's move on from that. I think I'm just gonna jump into this. As Obi jumps off, I'm going to open this baby. Wow. Cardboard. So we have the clay. The clay looks to be very bubbly, which is weirding me out a little bit. I don't know, is that normal? Got a big thing of white, a big thing of pink. The colors are nice. These are very small. This seems a little on the tiny side. And then we've got medium packages of brown. Interesting. I do like that they gave you more white. I wish they gave you a blue, but there's no blue, and I'm blue about missing blue. these little styrofoam doohickeys. So those are the little cake forms. You make one 3-tiered, one 2-tiered, and one 1-tiered. Or you can just make one very awkward looking cake tower. Oh gosh, no. This, and I'm guessing this is a rolling pin. A little thing of glaze to give them a little shine. And we have a little knife with... Okay, these little cupcake liners, but these are kind of squashed and they don't really hold their shape, so I'm not really sure if this will work. Oh, cute! There's a little vial of glitter, and then we have little circular sprinkles. Whoops. These little pieces of pizza. I guess that these are the pie forms. Okay, and then I have all of this. So these are eyes, cheeks, and these little papery things, which I guess you're supposed to use to decorate. And that is everything. So I need to read this book. Rip part of the book off. Let me get all this stuff out of the way so I can properly study. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Cover your work surface with a sheet of wax paper. Okay. Will parchment paper work? Okay, so I'm actually going to start making things. Let's see how this goes. Alrighty, first I'm going to lay down my parchment paper. Even though it's not wax paper, it'll work, it'll work. Let's start with the first project they have in the book, a donut. It's a blob with a hole. How hard could this be? I'm going to start by opening up some of the light brown clay, and I was surprised to see how gooey and sticky this was. Roll it into a ball and use the book to measure the size. Quite helpful. Then gently flatten it out.
Not to a pancake.
But just, enough. This one turned out very wrinkly, which I tried to fix, but it didn't really work. Then I got out this little tool and used it like so to try to punch the hole of the donut, but the clay really sticks to that tool, so it definitely doesn't come out cleanly. I did try to clean it up using different techniques, but it's not very neat. Let's break into that pink clay, which was the gooeyest of them all. Just
Gooey.
unfortunately, the bags are not resealable, so I put all of them into the same giant Ziploc bag because it was the only one I had. Now back to this. Let me just clean off the tool and follow the instructions to make some frosting. This is satisfying, but this is not. Well, that's a mess. I'm just gonna mix these together and start over. This time, my ball came out perfectly smooth. Let's try this again. Poke the hole. That was worse than the first time. Okay, whatever. Again, do the roll and smush. I got this part down and poke the hole. I am adjusting my technique a little each time to try to get the cleanest results and using the tips that they give you in the book, but how is your hole so perfect? That's gotta be Photoshop. Your perfect hole is making me really self-conscious of my hole. Speaking of holes, let's go for some brown frosting this time. You have to be real careful where you put this stuff because any little touch and it will stick. Okay, place it. This is getting very familiar. This time, I'm gonna take a second to clean the end of the tool before pulling it out. The directions say to twist the tool to get the clay to stop sticking, so I'm twisting. That seems to be making it worse though. Another very messy result. They are fun to destroy, but I'm trying to make a donut here. Last time, I'm going to try this. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Except that's not actually the definition, it's just a quote. Anyway, back to the bubblegum pink. Did they actually give me bubblegum though? This time, I punched the hole in the
When you shop with us, you know how to score. But did you know you could be saving even more? Yes. Perfect. Love it. With the TJX Rewards credit card. Every time you shop at our stores, you earn 5% back in rewards. TJX Rewards credit card. An even better value every day.
Separately, which is obviously not what they tell you to do, but it did give me the neatest results so far. Although, let's be honest, it's not. Finally, I'm gonna move on to rolling out some drizzle with some white clay. They tell you to apply the drizzle and then punch the hole. See?
This usually doesn't take this long. Oh my god.
Seems risky. So instead, I just cut the drizzle where the hole is. Yep, that's some fat, flat, clumsy looking drizzle. At least it doesn't look like a literal turd. Okay, fine. I'll try to use the tool to fix up the drizzle.
No, why did I do this? I knew better.
So yeah, it does look super sloppy and messy, and it just drives me crazy. So this is my final donut. You know what? Maybe I should try something easier because the donut technique the donuts kind of depressed me. But that's nothing new. Flip forward, cookies. Yes, cookies I can do. Side note, not everything looks cuter with a face. So this is basically the same first couple of steps as a donut, which we've seen. So let's skip forward to this point. Cool. Now use the tool.
Not another hole.
I'm just using the end of it to make a little smile and the little bead eyes and the little cheeks. I mean, yes, this is cute and a little crooked, but now this is too easy. I'm bored. Let's skip to the end of the book where the cakes are. These are much more exciting to me. Start with a large ball of clay. Do not let the clay touch the book. I was trying to do that thing where, you use itself to stick and clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Clearly it wasn't working.
No.
Things did get under control eventually, though. You're kidding me. Now, you're supposed to roll this out. The rolling pin was a little difficult because, it sticks, so you can't use a lot of pressure, otherwise it will just completely stick to the clay. So I ended up using my hands to stretch the clay and then just using the rolling pin to smooth it out, so it was kind of like a combo effort. Once I finally stretched this out enough, it's time for all this. Now, this size clay circle is supposed to fit over the large cake form. I was skeptical, and I really didn't want to have to do this all over again, so I actually used the medium-sized cake just to be safe. So you just wrap the clay around and smooth it out the best you can, and slowly work any excess down to the bottom until you have this top hat situation, and then just cut off the excess. So would this have been enough clay for the large cake form? Yes, probably, maybe. I don't know. That was super helpful, I know. Now at this point, it's looking okay. There are some cracks I'm trying to get rid of. The book says you can add water to soften it up, so I tried dipping my fingers in water and smoothing it out. It kind of worked, but also it made it a lot stickier, so probably not the best idea to do that. I'm gonna move on to the top tier, and I'm going for yellow. At this point, I'm kind of just going rogue and doing my own thing without really using the book to measure.
Oh, heavens.
I know, wild. And actually, this tier did turn out a little bit cleaner than the first one. Now I'm just gonna stick them together, and it's something. I found this section on how to make bows, so I'm gonna give that a shot. Basically, you just roll out a little strip, fold it in, roll out a smaller strip, and wrap it around. I'm going to... Yeah, that was my first failed attempt. I used this for the front of my cake. It got a little smushy when I attached it on there, so I used a toothpick to try to bring some detail to it, and then I painstakingly placed these tiny little pearls all around, and of course, I dropped them constantly. But eventually, I did get everyone in place, roughly. Now to cover up the mess that I made of the bottom here, I'm going to apply some of this glaze, which you can either use as a gloss or as a glue. And I worked one section at a time, applying the glaze and then sprinkling the glitter over top. And that actually did help a lot to cover up all the imperfections. Glitter, it will mask your pain. I probably could have, and possibly should have, left it at that, but nope, it's time to get extra. how to make roses, and I think they look really cool, so yeah, we're doing this. You start with a clay circle, wrap it around a toothpick, and then add smaller clay circles and keep adding until you like it.
I like it.
Now just pull it off the toothpick and cut away the excess and stick it on, which is definitely very tricky to do without smushing it. Okay, now I've decorated this to the max, right?
Wrong.
So I made another one, a white one this time, and that looks kind of awkward now. So you know what this needs? More flowers. So here I go making more, and I was actually having a lot of fun with this technique. Except when that happened. I think I may have gotten slightly carried away, and I'm still adding stuff. Finally, I can call this done, okay? But I'm gonna make one more cake. But since I didn't have enough of any of the bright colors of clay left, I decided to combine them and roll them together. I am being careful not to mix them up too much because then the color will be really muddy, but just enough to create a marbled kind of weird tie-dye thing. Oh, I'm just realizing now that I had a ton of white clay left, so I totally could have mixed one of these colors with the white and created a very pastel version of the color. I'm just realizing this option now. Oh well, I'm working much faster this time because I feel like my problem with the pink cake was overworking